I have just been like on pins and needles, so excited for today's conversation with our guest. I've been seeing such a rise of education and talking and awareness around ADHD, anything on the spectrum, executive dysfunctioning, all of that. And so being able to bring a true expert here on the show today is wonderful. And I cannot wait for this conversation. Hey everyone, welcome back to Work Life Harmony. Kristen, I would love it if you would introduce yourself, give everyone a little bit about your background, and then we're going to be talking about some things related to motivation, procrastination, etc. today.
I'm Kristen Carder. I am a certified life coach. I have a couple different certifications, but I started out as a podcaster, and that's kind of how I got my feet wet in the ADHD business. I was so frustrated that there weren't more people talking about adult ADHD. Now the space is very saturated, but if you just kind of rewind back to like 2015,
Yeah,
2016,
nothing there.
there was nothing. It was all about helping ADHD kids, which actually I was doing. I owned a tutoring center and I was serving families who had these ADHD children. And so I have been researching and studying ADHD for many years and just obsessed with it. And now have a global coaching program where I help ADHDers all over the world not necessarily get their together, because I think that like this is just we are who we are, but
Thank you for saying that, right? Like that shouldn't
yeah.
be our life goal, right? It's just how
No.
about we just live?
Yes,
And
and
whatever that looks
accept
like.
ourselves. Like, I really
Yes.
think that self-acceptance is the foundation for any kind of self-development change that we wanna make, and so just, like, enjoying your life with ADHD
Mm.
is what I want to help people to do.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I have shared here on the show, I do not have the expertise or anything that you have in this space, but I live with and love two people diagnosed with it. And so I always consider myself very aware. I read a lot. I personally have invested time working with professionals in this space so that I can understand it better to better, support and live in our household here. And one of the things that you shared that I found fascinating is I can remember early on being told, like, oh, you can go tell your daughter, like, that her brain is a superpower, that ADHD is a superpower. And I love that you said, you know what? No, it's not. And it's
Mhm.
okay that it's not. So I would love for you to explain that. Cause when I saw that, it really kind of jarred me a little. Cause I'm like, oh, this is what I was always coached on as a way to say it instead of saying you're different or, any of those other
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
adjectives that people will use.
I'm really glad that you asked. I always get a little, like, sweaty when I
Okay.
have to start talking about this, because 'cause I'm like, I don't know how this will be received, but please hear my heart in this. For people who struggle with ADHD, as a child myself who struggled with ADHD, it is so difficult to live with ADHD, and it makes everything in life more complicated. My friend and colleague, Ari Tuckman, says ADHD doesn't create new problems, it just exacerbates the universal problems. Anything that any human struggles with, memory, attention, regulation, all of that, it just complicates it and makes it harder. And I understand the heart behind wanting to tell children that it's a superpower. I understand the heart behind that because we want our children to feel empowered. We want our children to know how smart they are, because ADHD and intelligence have nothing to do with each other. You can be extremely intelligent with ADHD, or you can struggle cognitively and have ADHD. Intelligence is not linked to ADHD. So I understand the heart behind it. But as someone who worked with children who struggled in school for years and years, what I found to be the most empowering thing was to say, hey, you know how you're struggling. You know how everything just feels harder for you. Guess what? We figured out why. And
Mhm.
it's not because you're lazy, and it's not because you're stupid, and it's not because you're not trying hard enough. Your brain works a little bit differently. And now we get to figure out how to support your brain. So all we have to do is figure out how to support this unique brain that you have, and life will not be as hard. But
Mhm.
telling someone who is struggling every single day just to do the very basic things of life, like get out the door on time, even just like, let's back up, wake up, like waking up. getting out of bed, right? These very quote unquote basic things that are just so complicated for those of us with ADHD. And children know. Children know when they're struggling. Children know. They know. And so to tell someone like, "Oh, this is just a superpower." To me, and in my experience working with many, many people with ADHD, a lot of us perceive that as some, like, toxic positivity, trying to put a bow on something that just feels really hard. It doesn't feel validating. What feels
I can see that because you
validating.
look at superheroes, right, in the comics, they have no struggles.
Yeah, and even I've had a lot of people say, "Well, this superhero had this struggle and this," like, and I'm not a comic book nerd. I am a nerd,
Same.
but I'm not a comic book nerd, right? So I don't really
Same.
know. But in every case, they've been able to overcome, they're seen as the hero, and when you think about, like, a child in the inner city with very minimal resources who is struggling with ADHD, are you gonna tell that child that their ADHD is a superpower when they don't, maybe they don't come from a two-parent home, maybe they don't have the resources needed to survive and thrive with this disorder. So, sure, for someone like, you know, all of the celebrities that we've labeled with it, like, okay, Justin Timberlake, is it his superpower? Maybe, like, probably, that's great, but he's a rich white guy, so, like, I don't understand.
Who has a
So,
ton of resources to
who
support
has
probably
a
the areas where he
ton.
does struggle. Yeah.
Exactly, that's exactly the point. So, I think it's much more empowering to say, "You are so smart, and I can see that you're struggling with things that feel really frustrating to you, and now we know why." Now, if we don't help our kids and ourselves to see that, like, the label of ADHD does matter, then we're just gonna label ourselves as lazy, as stupid, as not trying hard enough. But if I can say, like, "Oh, it's not because I'm lazy, it's because I have ADHD. Now
Mhm.
how do I support my ADHD so that I can do what I wanna do?" That's a whole
Yeah.
different avenue to getting what I want.
I love that you bring up the lazy
Mhm.
because I know I hear a lot from the women in my community that have shared that, they have recently discovered as adults that they have ADHD and they're like, "Oh, well, this explains so much." And I think a lot of Gen Xers are going through that, right? And so you're saying that it's not laziness.
Mm-mm.
So what is the ADHD procrastination really about?
I love this question, and I think that procrastination is one of the biggest struggles for those of us with
Mhm.
ADHD, and it is one of the things that fills us with the most regret because we miss out on so many opportunities of things that we know we would be so freaking good at if we could just get ourselves to do it, and it's absolutely not about laziness. So we have to back up and talk about what does it mean to have ADHD? The umbrella of ADHD is a disorder of self-regulation. Somebody with ADHD is going to struggle to regulate their attention, their behavior, and their emotions. And procrastination is almost all about emotional regulation. So when I'm procrastinating on something, there's a very good reason for it. Hear me, listener. Hear, like, I want to pull you in so close. There is a very good reason why we're procrastinating. Maybe the reason is fear. I'm afraid that if I do this, I'm going to be seen. I'm not posting on social media. And I don't know why, I just can't get myself to do it, and every day I say I'm gonna do it, and then I just don't do it. Why am I not doing it? If I really sit with it, it's, I'm afraid to be seen. I'm procrastinating on this project. Why am I procrastinating on this project for work? I know how to do it. I know the steps. Why am I not just doing it? I'm afraid that it's not going to be perfect. And then I'm going to get feedback from my boss that's going to say, hey, you didn't do this right. And I told you last time XYZ. And now I'm going to have to put you on a performance improvement plan. And I've already been on one before and I don't want to be on one again. Right. I'm currently writing a book. Oh my gosh, it is so hard. And
Amen.
oh my gosh, it is so hard. And I procrastinate writing my book because I know how bored I am going to be when I sit down to write it. So if I am not able to identify, I'm dreading the feeling of that hard work and then regulate my ability to just hold that yucky feeling in my body for hours on end, I'm never going to get the book written. So
Mm.
Procrastination is not about, I don't know what to do or I don't know how to do it. And that's the thing with ADHD, right? It's like, I know what to do. I'm just not doing it. Well, why aren't you doing it? You're struggling to regulate your emotions. And the thing that we do is we dismiss it. Oh, I'm just so lazy. Oh, I'm just so stupid. Oh, I'm just so,
What's wrong with me, right? Like,
what's
it's always, "What's wrong
wrong
with
with
me?"
me? Or people have told us in the past, like, you just must not care that much.
Mhm.
Excuse me. No, I procrastinate on the things that I care the most about. I don't procrastinate on the stupid stuff. I procrastinate on the things that I care the most about because they carry so much emotional weight. So
Mm.
much of my work with my clients with who are ADHD is helping them to identify, feel, process, soothe their emotions. Because if someone with ADHD can learn how to do that, they are unstoppable. Unstoppable.
And I love how you said, with writing the book, you're like, for you, that's a boring task. And like you're
So
thinking
boring.
about sitting. I love that you said, I'm going to have to sit in that. You're not saying I'm going to change the fact that I'm bored by it, right? We can't. We are who we are.
Mhm.
So I feel like there's this very coupled relationship with procrastination and motivation, right? So
Mhm.
how do you talk to both of those together?
Mm.
Because it's like it's hard to separate them, I feel like
Yep.
sometimes.
Well, motivation is really tricky because motivation is often related to dopamine, and the
Mhm.
ADHD brain has fewer dopamine receptors, which means even though we have the same amount of dopamine, our brain is not receiving it and doing the right things with the dopamine. I know it's fascinating, isn't it?
Mhm.
This is one of the primary things that medication is a wonderful intervention for because medication that kind of interprets the dopamine for our brain and allows us to feel just that little bit more of motivation, which is really just like the dopamine that our brains are not. Sorry for that gross sucking noise. That was your brain
But I heard
receiving.
yeah.
Yeah, that was your brain receiving the dopamine, right? And so one of the first things that we wanna do is consider hopping on a medication. If you have a diagnosis, if you are willing to consider medication, that could really solve a lot of the motivation issue for you, not because, "Oh, it's a stimulant and now you're on meth." No, not true, not true. But what it's doing is it's regulating that dopamine, those dopamine receptors in your brain and allowing it to receive the dopamine that it deserves. And it is if like motivation is an emotion, right? And so if we struggle to regulate our emotions, we're going to struggle to find motivation in our bodies. We're going to struggle to do the right thing, quote unquote, with it when it's here. And so what I teach my clients is we need a different fuel. We
Mm.
need to be a hybrid vehicle, right? So emotions fuel our actions. Motivation is an emotion. I love the feeling of motivation, but it just kind of blows in when the
Yeah. I
winds are
can't I
just
can't
right.
program when I can't plan for when it's gonna hit.
We can't manufacture it.
No.
So,
Yeah.
can we access something else like maybe determination?
Mm.
Purpose, groundedness, willingness. Willingness, listener, if you can find willingness in your body where you logically know this is something that let's talk about working out, right? Every woman wants to work out, well, whatever. If we can think in our brains and like know all the stats, know how good it is for us, blah, blah, blah. If we're waiting around to feel motivated, we're going to do it once a month when we're in whatever phase of our cycle allows
Yeah.
us to be motivated, right? But if I can access willingness, I don't want to do it. I'm going to hate it while I'm doing it, but I'm willing to do it because I know it's good for me. I'm just willing. There's an openness there
Mm.
then where I'm just like, okay, fine. I will give it 30 minutes. I'm willing. So it's not even about motivation. I think that motivation is like it doesn't matter cuz it's hardly ever here. We make too big of a
Yeah.
deal out of motivation. Let's just throw motivation in the trash
Thank
can.
you for saying that. I think that's so freeing 'cause I get asked all the time, like, "Megan, how can I get motivated to?" I'm like, I don't
You
know.
don't.
Like, I can't give you an answer to
No,
that.
I
There
think
just
the
isn't
answer
one.
is motivation is irrelevant. You decide what you want with your executive brain, right?
Mhm.
And then you kind of give yourself an hors d'oeuvre platter of the different emotions that might be available to you. Is it determination? Is it willingness? Is it acceptance? Like when I go to write my book, I'm just going to accept that I'm going to feel like crap for 4 hours in a row. Now, I'm going to get all the good snacks. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to be in my
Same.
PJs,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to do all the things to make myself as comfortable as possible, but there is nothing that I can do internally to make this fun. This is not fun, right?
Again, thank you for saying that. I feel like in our toxic positivity culture
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
there is this false expectation that that anything that we're doing, if we were just doing it, quote, the right way, we could enjoy it. And I'm
Nope.
thinking, I've never in my life enjoyed doing laundry ever, not
Yep.
once.
Yep.
Am I glad when it's done? Am I happy for the end product? You betcha.
Yep.
There is no amount of snacks, music, dopamine, anything in this world that is going to make me enjoy doing it ever. Like, and I think
No,
I think that's okay.
it's absolutely okay. And I think that where a lot of people with ADHD especially get stuck is this feels terrible, so it must be the wrong thing.
Mm.
Okay, I said I was gonna write a book, but this feels terrible. I actually hate it. So this must be the wrong path. Or I say I'm going to, be a social media influencer, but gosh, posting on social media feels terrible. It must be the wrong thing. No, no, no. The right thing always feels terrible. Right? Parenting your children with calm and presence feels terrible.
What do you mean? It's
Staying
so easy all
Oh
the
my
time.
god. I have 3 and I'm just like, "I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna
Eh,
make it." Right? Staying faithful to your spouse feels terrible sometimes. Getting up and going to work feel like every good thing in your life actually feels terrible. So the point and the whole purpose here is, can I increase my tolerance for discomfort? It comes back to emotional regulation. Can I increase my tolerance for discomfort? Can I in and for those of us with ADHD, and this is fascinating, it's like we are extra sensitive to discomfort. And so we are actually discomfort averse. And there's a
Yes.
lot of resilience that we need to build when it comes to tolerating discomfort. And so my work on my podcast with my clients is a lot of building a tolerance for discomfort so that you can do the things, the stupid things that like laundry and dishes and getting your oil changed that like I don't care about that at all, but the things that really matter to you as well, like
Mhm.
showing up the way that you want to with your kids, showing up the way you want to at work, writing that book, starting that podcast, whatever it is for you, there is an incredible amount of discomfort that needs to be learned to be tolerated.
Do you have any tips on kind of a place to start? Like step
Mm.
1 in learning how to live in that discomfort?
So I think the first and most important step is just understanding that it's very normal. A lot of times when we're feeling discomfort, the alarm system in our brain is going off like, "Uh-oh, something's wrong, abort mission. This is wrong. This must be wrong." It's like, "Oh no, this is normal." There's no way to post on social media without having a panic attack. There's no other way to do it, right? There's no way to write a book without feeling bored. There's no way to stay calm with your 17-year-old son who just got home late from curfew after you explicitly giving him a reminder, like, I'm just saying
Yeah,
hypothetically,
totally hypothetically.
hypothetically, there's no way to do that without holding the discomfort in your body so that you don't spew it all over your son, right? And so the first part is just normalizing that life doesn't feel good most of the time, right? And which is, like, sad, and we should all cry together right here.
But
We
at the
can
same time, I feel like it's so liberating because it's not like you're on this mission to achieve the impossible, which is change what really is not going to change.
Yes, exactly. And it's a reminder that you're actually not doing it wrong.
Mm.
You're scared, you're panicking. Oh, perfect. You're doing it right. You're so mad at your son that you like fantasize about screaming, yelling, losing your ever loving mind on him. You're normal. Welcome to parenting teenage boys, right?
Mhm.
But if you can normalize that and not dismiss it, because you're a Gen Xer, I'm like a bridger. I'm 81 birthday, and it was very much like emotions don't matter. Just stuff them down. Like, who cares? It doesn't what you're
Stuff it in there,
feeling,
man.
just stuff it way down. And what we do when we dismiss our emotions is we're just like holding the dam of right? We're like building this dam and the emotions are just building and building and building and building. And for an ADHDer, what's on the other side of that is usually shut down. I'm just gonna throw in the towel. I'm just gonna give up because I don't know how to hold these emotions of fear, panic, discomfort, boredom. I don't know how to keep holding them at bay. So I guess I just have to give up. I guess I'm just not gonna write that book.
Mm.
Instead of, this is just what it feels like to write a book. This is just what it feels like to parent teenagers. This is just what it feels like to post on social media. That normalization is huge. Do you want me to give you one more step? Because I could just get
Yes,
really quick.
absolutely.
If you can just so like normalize it, this is just what it feels like to, and you fill in the blank with whatever it is you're doing, and then give yourself 30 seconds to just, and this is like annoying advice for a hyperactive ADHDer. I know because I am one. But if you can just breathe and make space in your body and say, my body is big enough to hold this emotion. My body's big
Mm.
enough. I can hold this. I don't have to escape it. I don't have to throw it onto someone else. I don't have to eat it away or drink it away or porn it away or whatever way we're doing to like escape our I am big enough. If I just breathe and I expand inside my body and I'm like, I'm big enough to hold this. I can hold this boredom while I write this
Mm.
book. I can hold this fear while I'm finishing up this project for my boss, my toxic boss, maybe. I can hold this panic while I'm on the phone telling my mom, you know what? Those Thanksgiving plans don't work for me and my 4 little kids. We're not going to be able to see 17 different family members, right?
Or
I am,
travel, like, "No, thank you. Too
I'm
hard
not
at this stage
doing
of
it.
life." Yep.
No, right? Like telling someone no, like I'm big enough to hold this emotion because logically I know what I want. The barrier to getting what I want is an emotion. I'm big enough to hold this emotion. I can do that.
And I can only imagine doing that once or twice. Now you're starting to build that muscle memory and belief in yourself of,
This is the
"No, it's not gonna
resilience.
change, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
I've done it before. I
Yes.
can do it again."
That's the resilience that I'm talking about. Exactly.
Mhm.
It's like, if we can build just a little brick by brick emotional resilience and self-trust, I can do this. It's not gonna feel good. I know it's not gonna feel good, but also I know how to not feel good. Like, we have
Mhm.
to get really, really good at not feeling good, and then we get to do whatever we wanna do, because the barrier is always how we feel. Mm.
That's fascinating. I always tell people, even if you don't live with someone with ADHD, I just think
Mhm.
it's really important for everyone to have awareness because chances are you work with someone, there's an extended family member, like
Mhm.
there is somebody in your life with this. And the
Yeah.
more aware we can become of it, the more we can learn about it.
Mhm.
Everybody wins. So, for everybody listening that either themselves is like, I need more help in this area, or yes, I need
Mhm.
to learn more about this, where can they connect with you? What is the best place
Mhm.
to kind of learn from you?
So I have hours and hours and hours, hundreds of hours of free podcast episodes for you. It's called the I Have ADHD Podcast. You can find it wherever you listen to your podcast. We are now on YouTube as well, which is new. And so, yeah, I would say the podcast is a great place to start.
I've learned a lot already. So, thank you for it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. My website is ihaveadhd.com. And if you go there, you can find a symptoms list. You can find the podcast. You can find resources. We have a bunch of resources on there. And also, I have a coaching program for anyone who's like, I need help today. And it is just the most wonderful group of ADHDers from all over the world. And that's called Focused.
Oh, beautiful. I can't thank you enough for doing the work that you're doing. I love that there's more visibility and conversation about
Yes.
this, but I feel like there's still a long way to go. So
Yeah.
what you're doing and what you're putting out in the world is so valued, so needed. Thank you again for being here today. We really appreciate it.